It's an interesting question, isn't it? Should your life be about you? That's an interesting question. Should it be about you? Because you are you. You experience the world through you. But actually, Kate, you talked about flow state, which is an idea that I love, especially from like from a psychological perspective, that when you're in a state of flow, when you get into that brainwave state, your self-consciousness drastically decreases. And that's interesting because flow is actually a very meaningful experience. And I think there is a link there between a profound sense of meaning and this dissolving of self-consciousness, because whatever you're doing becomes bigger than you. It's not about you anymore. It's not about you as an individual. So like, where do I get the most flow state in my life? Well, when I'm writing for content or I'm speaking on the podcast like this, it's not about Joel Clifton. It's about big ideas that are bigger than me and that can provide value in this conversation to us, but also to the wider people that might listen to it. Or when I'm playing a basketball game, for me, the team, we become one organism. And our goal is to achieve this objective of winning this game. So it's not about Joel Clifton as the individual. I become the basketball game. I become the basketball player. It's bigger than me. It's about us as a team and us as an organization and winning and this primal, like, us versus them, warlike mentality that goes into sport and things like this. Like, I think there's something to that. If you can, and I think this is something that a lot of people talk about when they have children, for example. That's when your life isn't about you anymore. There's someone in your life that's more important than you to you. And how there's this profound sense of not caring about things like your self-image or how you're perceived by the world, because your child is the most important thing in your reality then. So, yeah. And like you said, Jake, with the religious thing, if life is about this higher power, this higher consciousness, this divine being, this divine way of being, then it's not about you as an individual. And I know it's a paradoxical way of looking at things, but maybe the best way to feel in life and the best way to approach life is to not focus on you at all, and then as a byproduct you'll feel better. It's paradoxical, but it's interesting. Go on, Kate, because I interrupted you. Go.
No, it's okay. It's just fascinating because, so I would argue that the best way to show up for people and be part of that organism, be the best parent, be the best teammate, is to start from within. If you have settled your scores and if you have done your work and if you have focused on yourself, but I guess it's not in that egotistical, like, I want to be better than everyone else. It's like, I want to heal, or I want to focus on why I do things, how I can be the most, like, kind person, how I can not use my past traumas in order to inflict discomfort on other people. And I think if you really get to that place within yourself, like they say with doulas, like the women, the people that help women give birth and through the birthing process, that their like primary piece of knowledge that they have is that they need to be a really comfortable presence from within. Because if you sit in a room with a pregnant woman and you're quite like erratic and a bit uncomfortable and a bit anxious, she'll start to feel that, because pregnant women are like they like absorb people's energy because they're trying to protect their child, you know. So the doulas always say that if you start from within, if you become this really calm, really soft, really stable, like, person who, yes, things might happen to, and you might get, you know, you might have grief, you might have anxiety, but if you can still be that essential core where you're like, anything that happens to me, it won't rock my sense of self to the point where I can't show up and care for people. And so I think if we feed ourselves, kind of like the put your own life jacket on first kind of thing, like, you have to, I couldn't be a good friend to my mates if I was so in my head that everything that they said to me I would perceive as a criticism or something. You know, I have to be okay first, that I can give them good advice and I can be receptive to their energy. So I think it's maybe the purpose of life is that we can get to a place of self-knowledge to the point where our capacity to love and to connect makes us feel just as settled and as comfortable and as happy as, I don't know, achieving something purely for our own self. Because I don't think whenever I have achieved something, if I've done a big show or I've been on stage, I never feel quite fulfilled. Like, I don't come off stage feeling like, the fulfillment comes from the people that I've worked with, that feeling that we've done something together, the like being in the bar and hugging each other and being like, we fucking did that together. It doesn't come from this sense that, oh my God, everyone thinks I'm amazing. I think that's a finite resource, and I think any artist or singer or musician will know that feeling of, it doesn't come from being like, I'm amazing. The feeling comes from being united with the other people around you. And I think when I've tried to use achievements or success through my art in order to make me feel good, it's left me feeling lonely and isolated. I think we have to fight. We have to heal ourselves through community. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're spot on with there being another side to things, and I think the answer is to put these things together and do both, hopefully at the same time. So when you're on the stage and you're providing value for yourself, your confidence, your career, your experience, but you're also providing value for all those people that took the time to come and listen to you. And it's kind of like a balance between, say, if you've got £1 and you can help a homeless person, but you could turn that £1, do something better with it, and be able to help more homeless people, which would seem more right. But I think, I think the answer is to try and do both kind of at the same time, so that you're able to deliver something of more worth in the future while still be giving worth in the present sort of day.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, the way I think about it, just from what you're saying there, because it's a brilliant point, and it makes me think of Carl Jung, who was one of the great first psychoanalysts. He said, he stressed so importantly in his work that for someone to counsel someone through their psychological disquiet and any pathology, they have to have done so much self-work to be able to do that effectively. And so many therapists get qualifications and get these titles of they're a therapist or a counsellor, but if they haven't done the self-work themselves, they're going to attach to certain things that their client says, or have this certain perspective that means they can't really help somebody navigate through that journey themselves. And that's the thought that came to me as you were speaking. And then I go, okay, well, maybe the process is you have to sort of confront and deal with your own demons and have some level of stability and tranquility in yourself, so that you can give yourself up to the world, to give yourself up to the people around you, to provide value to your community through your work, and your work becomes bigger than you, or to submit yourself to something divine, whether that be God or nature or creativity or whatever the way you want to think about it, or whether it's falling in love. That's fundamentally a process of giving yourself up to another person or a family or a friendship group. And it's that self-acceptance and then self-sacrifice that I think is something so fundamental to the way human beings are. And that's the divine story that we see in so many religious texts about self-sacrifice for the greater good. And that's a great way to be in the world.